Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. We are all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. I do things differently here on this channel, so with that being said, if a message does resonate with you, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Triggering statements may arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. Your time and your energy are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm honored to be sharing it here with you today. So we are asking the truth about this situation, and this can be the situation that's on your mind or what it feels like it's pertaining to. So I did feel like this was an important message that came through meditation before I got onto the reading today. It was pretty profound how it popped up. I was actually going to use a different oracle deck, but I kept getting called to using the Soul's Journey oracle, so we're going to be using that one today by James Van Praagh. So let us go ahead and hop to our meditation, which I guess in a way prayer is meditation. Let us hop to our prayer, and then we'll go ahead and get this reading underway. My beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for the entire time or for a moment's time. Today I ask that you help us open our hearts. Open our hearts to seeing the deepest truth there is that comes from a place of unconditional love. Acceptance of the world as it is, knowing that we're not here to control outcomes. We're not here to convince everyone that we're worthy of their time and attention. We are not here to even necessarily defend our actions or why it is that we are the way that we are. We can absolutely stand up for ourselves, and while that is important, knowing that it's okay to set a boundary, but that it is a waste of time for us to really try to convince others why we're worthy of their love when they've shown that they're not willing to give that love in the first place. And sometimes with these situations in our hearts and these situations in our minds, we get confused. You know, we're emotionally attached. We're emotionally connected to them. And it's hard for us to step back and to see what direction is the right direction for us. It's hard for us to recognize what could potentially be the highest outcome for our journey. Not what we want, but what we need. Our emotional ego tells us we need it or we want it to be a certain way, when our spirit is guiding us to we need it a certain way. And sometimes that can leave us confused, lost, and feeling hopeless. So today I ask that you open our hearts so that we can receive our guidance clearly, and we can hear the messages that mean the most to us so that we can take a confident step forward on our journey with clarity and decisive action. As these words are spoken upon this tribe and onto this reading today, so shall they be. Amen. Aho, Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. So let me go ahead and get that set up over here. All right. Move this out of the way. I'm still dealing with a weird arm injury, so I will do the best that I can. It kind of comes and goes, and I am still trying to make sure that you get your regularly scheduled readings. So, and also just a quick update, I will be traveling in a few, I can't say a few days, but in about a week and a half, I will be traveling again, and I just want to put that out there, so just so you guys know. That's just how it is. It's time to move on to the next place. All right, so the truth about the situation. What oracle cards are going to help us better understand this message today, Source? The truth about this situation. Okay, thank you. The truth about this situation. All right. Pile 1. The truth about this situation. What oracle card is going to help us better understand this message today, Source? Okay, thank you. Pile number 2, the truth about this situation. Okay, thank you, Source. Pile number 3, the truth about this situation. What oracle card is going to help us better understand this message today? Thank you. All right, collective energy, change. Change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So the truth about the situation is it's bringing a lot of change. I feel like there's something that needs to happen in order for you to move to the next phase of your journey. So that could come in a lot of different forms, right? Everybody's at a different part of their journey. Not every situation is going to unfold the same way. And I do feel like for some, this could be change in a just, oh, okay, that was different. Or this could be very uncomfortable change that comes in the form of a trigger, or what appears life is falling apart. When it's falling apart, it's truly falling into place. This could be a change in a complete pivot in a new direction. But the truth about the situation is, regardless of what's next, it's bringing change for your growth and your evolution, to see more clearly from eyes of love, to truly embrace and embark upon what it means to be a soul here experiencing the human journey, while also maintaining connection to that depth of who we are at our core. And change is very, very difficult for so many people, and that's okay. That's very human of us to not like change, to not want things to change. But the truth is that change is the only constant that exists in this realm. Time changes everything. And it doesn't matter, nothing stays the same. Time changes everything. And as time continues to move forward, we can embrace and accept that change is also going to affect us. It's going to bring in new opportunities. It's going to close doors that are no longer serving us. It is going to help us expand our horizons if we allow it. But sometimes, because change is often so uncomfortable, even if we're used to change, our resistance gets in the way, and we can actually deter the journey and have to continue to learn difficult lessons, or have to continue to observe difficult things because we're not yet ready to move on. And it's interesting because I am getting right away, actually right now, this energy of anger and this energy of blame that could be directed towards you, but that could also be something that you might be harboring within yourself. And blame is a very, 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 very heavy emotion. It is a very low vibrational energy that we all experience. Okay, so there's no pointing of the finger here or anything like that. But remembering that blame doesn't actually help us grow. Blame keeps us in stagnant, repetitive cycles, and it keeps us from actually taking accountability for our own actions. It's not to say that the other parties didn't play a part in the journey itself, or, the situation isn't to blame. It's not to say these things, but it is to say that only holding on to blame and saying it's their fault, it's because this happened, it's because of that, oftentimes it turns into an excuse for us to not look at ourselves and to see what we can do to move forward. Not everybody is willing to do that. And that oftentimes is the most uncomfortable change that we can embark on, is by asking ourselves, what can I do to make a difference for myself? Because we want others to shoulder that blame, or we want others to shoulder that accountability, or we want others to do the change themselves, because we feel like we've been jaded, or we've been betrayed, or we've been backstabbed. And this is a very interesting energy to come out here, but it's also connected with the sacral chakra and our truth here, our Vishuddha chakra. And it's saying that sometimes it's really hard for us to express the emotions because of anger. Anger is something that is a really heavy emotion as well. And it immediately, when we're in a state of anger, we go to projection, because no one has taught us how to express anger in a conductive way or a conducive way to our journey. And anger oftentimes needs to be sat with and acknowledged and validated. Like, it's okay that you're angry. It's even okay that you've blamed people. It's okay. Like, all of that is okay. But if we're saying that this becomes the excuse for me not to move on from a situation, and that could be this particular situation, this may have become the excuse not to move on from this situation. And that's where the change is necessary. Nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So if this is a stagnant situation, then we're being asked to change. If we can't change our circumstances, then change ourselves. And that doesn't mean that what we're doing isn't enough. It just means that we're repeating old patterns that aren't serving us any longer. And that's why change is so valid to our journey moving forward. So let's see what this says from the book. Change. I'm going through changes. Says there is a certain comfort in the idea of living a life without surprises. The status quo has an appeal, but you will never learn to grow if your circumstances stay the same. Everybody wants life to be better, but that requires change. You've chosen to incarnate into this physical dimension called Earth because of the myriad of opportunities. If you don't take advantage of them, what was the point? Staying within your comfort zone is overrated. With change comes transformation, and with transformation comes evolution. Stop viewing change as good or bad, because all change nourishes your soul. Don't equate it with a lack of control. Life happens, and it's supposed to happen. You can direct how it plays out, and you have always had the power to accept a change that redirects your path. So that's the other thing too, is accepting that none of us are free from change. Like, it's easy to say like, oh, well, that person's never had to experience the change that I have. And that might be true, but it doesn't mean that they've never experienced change. And sometimes that's why it's so easy to point the finger. And, you know, growing up, we were always taught that when you point the finger at someone, there's always 3 fingers pointing back at the self. And that's really symbolic for us, because it's like, sure, we can point the finger. It doesn't mean that they didn't play a pivotal part in the journey. But also, there's a lot more to do internally that we have to focus on rather than externally. And so the truth about the situation is it's bringing you to focus on something that is internal, something that is going on within the psyche, within the emotional well, within your heart, within your traumatic center, okay, that you've experienced through your life. It's looking at those things much more carefully and much more closely so that you can allow yourself to blossom and to grow from this and speak a deeper, more intimate truth about yourself, okay? Wow, super powerful already. Never doubt it. As always, when these readings come up, they're super enjoyable. I love these readings. All right. Now I have that song stuck in my head. I like the one that Ozzy Osbourne did with his daughter. That was such a good rendition of that song. Such a good one. Okay, so for pile 1, we have this dice with Venus on it for you to choose from. Or we have this piece of yellow citrine. Pile 2, we have this dice with Mars on it. Or we have this seashell for you to choose from. Pile 3, we have this dice with Saturn on it. Or we have this piece of natural jade for you to choose from. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, whichever pile you feel called to, that will be the pile for you. And I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Venus on it, or if you were drawn to this piece of yellow citrine, or perhaps you were called to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on the truth about this situation. First, we're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. I do things differently here on this channel, so with that being said, should the message happen to resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Triggering statements may arise on the readings themselves. There is no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. All right, your time and your energy are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm honored to be here sharing that with you. So let's go ahead and hop to it and find out the truth about this situation. Pile 1. The truth about this situation for pile 1. You know, okay, so I was getting this song. It's interesting. I was getting this song even before I was done with the intro. It was coming through and I kept hearing pile 1, but it's like, it's a shine down song. And there's this line in there. It's like, it's amazing what the hard times can reveal. And who shows up, who walks away, and who's for real. And I think that is something that like you're going through right now, pile 1. There's a lot of hardships that you've been through, and you're realizing that the people who you thought were going to show up during those hard times didn't. And there's this feeling of having to reassess your friends and your connections and the people that you've invited into your life. Because it's like, what the heck? I really thought that, you know, so-and-so was going to show up for me when it came to this, or that they were going to have my back no matter what, because I always have their back, or that, you know, they would give me their time and attention because I'm always giving them my time and attention. And I just feel like things seem like recently, or maybe even for like the last couple of years, it feels like things have just really been falling apart, and you're recognizing that a lot of the people that have been in your life really just were there because you were always there for them. like if you go silent, what happens, right? Like if you stop initiating text messages and phone calls and reaching out to them, what happens? Do they reach back out to you? Do they say, hey, you know what, Pile One, I haven't heard from you in a while and I'm getting worried about you. Like, what's going on? And I feel like that's the thing that's coming up right now. It's like realizing that who's going to show up, who walks away, and who's actually for real. And who you thought was for real is vastly different. And maybe you don't have someone in your life that's for real right now. And that can be really heartbreaking. Yeah. Interesting. We have the second house, we have Gemini energy, and we have Mars. So right now, it's about recalibrating your self-worth. Like how you give back to yourself rather than dropping everything on the whim and going and giving to all these other people. I also feel like it's interesting because if you didn't catch the general reading in the beginning, the collective energy, you might find some more messages there, but I say that because anger came up, and with Mars here, I'm getting a sense of anger coming through as well. It's like, and you have every right to be angry, especially when you've given so much of yourself to a situation. And now you're seeing that it doesn't matter how much I give, there's always pushback, or there's always a lack of accountability, or there's a lack of loyalty here. And with the second house talking about loyalty, what we're magnetizing to ourselves, our self-worth, stability, financial stability, physical stability, right? And this has really taken a toll on your physical being throughout this. Like you could have been dealing with a lot of aches and pains all of a sudden, or had like specifically wrist pain is coming in. You may have injured your wrist. I'm also getting one of your ring fingers recently got injured, or has had a really big injury at some point, like surgery, or a bone got broken in one of your fingers or your toes. But specifically the ring finger is coming in here, which also points me to maybe this is a commitment that you have in your life, like a partner that you have in your life. Like there was a real commitment here, a real feeling like this is a tying of the hearts, like we're in this for the long run. And then having a really deep kind of betrayal when things went south. Like if you're dealing with health issues and your spouse is like, nope, I'm sorry, I just can't be here with you while you're sick. Like it's not something that I am willing to take on, and they bounce out. Like that obviously leaves a lot of people surprised, because it's like, well, I would never do that to you. Or you already have done that for them, and then, you know, they don't reciprocate. And so there's a lot of being honest with yourself through this, but I do feel like it's being fueled by anger right now. Like there's this want to get back at them. There's this want to, I mean, vengeance, revenge, however, it's like an eye for an eye. Like I want them to experience the same pain that they put me through. And it's a nice sentiment, Pile One, but it doesn't make you feel better. Like, and you can say, oh, but it will. But I know from personal experience, I've talked to a lot of clients. This is something after you extract it and you get back at them, like you always feel worse. And it's because that's not the path that brings you back to balance. It doesn't balance the situation. It oftentimes just continues on this really crappy direction of, you know, back and forth energy. And with this combination of dice right now, it's about coming back to self-care and making self-care a priority, while also reevaluating your self-worth. Like, are you valuing yourself? Are you putting yourself above everything else right now, which is what you need? This is a very horrifying situation. It feels like broken heart to me. And it doesn't have to be a spouse. Like you losing a friend is a broken heart. You losing even a close connection with a sibling can be a broken heart, right? Like that's what it feels like. And so there's also a lot of fighting that's happening in this situation. And that's another reason, like, to come back to honesty with self. Is this something that is going to last for the long run? Or is there something else here that I may be missing? And with Gemini energy, it's just showing that you have the ability to adapt. You have the ability to do what's necessary for you moving forward, but you're the only one that can be honest with yourself. So there's definitely a huge shift in energy here. But let's get some tarot on it and find out some more here. The truth about this situation. Source, what would you like to share with us? The truth about this situation. It's amazing what the hard times can reveal. Who shows up, who walks away, and who's for real? Yeah, that's... Alright. The truth about this situation. Whoa, cards are flying. The truth about the situation. Source, what would you like to share with pile 1? Okay, it's coming out in the reverse. Interesting. Yeah, the 3 of Wands. It's in the upright, so there's an opportunity to move beyond this, but it doesn't mean it's going to be without its trials. There's going to be trials that are ahead here for you, and it's showing that they're going to be difficult, but they're going to offer you experience that will give you valuable knowledge in the future. This is just not a match. Like, this is not a pairing here, right? You have the Queen of Swords, and then you have this King of Cups. Someone who's incredibly cold, who's very cruel, who's very disconnected. This could also be the same person. Not only that, they're emotionally disconnected. They're emotionally unavailable, and they're emotionally immature, letting their anger get the best of them. So this would create a lot of fights here, this energy here. Feeling like I need to defend myself because every time we talk, it feels like you're attacking me. It feels like you're putting me down. It feels like I just have to be correct, because if I'm not correct, then I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, then something is wrong with me. Yeah, so re-evaluating the situation. You're going to overcome this here. Okay, and the truth about the situation is it was brought forth so that you could reconnect with a part of yourself that you felt had been fragmented from the past. And, you know, as we get into the reading even further, he's really looking at this card. So there might be some more information with this card, because that's where he's shining the light. And it's just interesting here because it does show that this is past energy, but it's also showing that there's an opportunity for growth here if you take time to reflect. And the Hermit energy can be really difficult energy, even though it's so beneficial for our journey moving forward. But the Hermit can ask us to self-isolate or go into periods of solitude so that we can reconnect with our inner truth, and we can allow ourselves an opportunity to better understand the journey moving forward. And again, that's not always easy. And sometimes it asks us to look at ourselves without judgment. And it's so easy to say, like, well, you know, like, if only I had done this, if only I had said this, if only I had changed this about myself. That's still us judging ourselves, rather than seeing, like, I did the best that I could with what I knew how. And so the truth about the situation right now is that it's asking you to reflect. It's asking you to observe the situation as it is from outside of the box, taking off the rose-colored glasses and not trying to paint a picture that doesn't belong there. If when we're emotionally involved in a situation, it's easy for us to try to convince ourselves that we're not really seeing what we're seeing. So I sometimes, with situations like this, I always recommend using a journal, like journaling situations that happen throughout the day, so that way you can go back and reference those as you're observing your own actions and what's going on internally within yourself. This could be that you have a tendency to people please, or that you have a tendency to over explain situations because you're trying to prove that you're worthy of love, rather than recognizing in this moment that you are already enough and worthy of love as you are. But this is also affecting you mentally, and I feel like there's a lot going on where maybe insomnia is taking over right now, or there's again this anger that's coming up. So there could be a lot of yelling and screaming at night, or in the morning or during the day, and losing the voice. Losing the ability to speak is coming through here as well, or feeling like you have to silence yourself in order to keep a situation balanced. And they're saying that that is not the way it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to dim your light just to appease someone else. That is a definition of entanglement and entrapment into a circumstance that is not meant for us. But oftentimes we're not looking at it that way because we're so emotionally invested in it. But this is a really interesting energy, because it's like it's easy for you to turn your back away from this person when things get too rough, but then it's almost like when they calm down and you calm down, and there could even be apologies that are said, but it's almost like a honeymoon cycle. It's like you go through the honeymoon phase where things are okay, then you go through the breakup phase where things are not okay, then you go through the reconnection phase, honeymoon phase, breakup phase. It's like this constant cycle that's happening, and Source is trying to give you the clarity to move on. Not necessarily from the situation, but to figure out what's right for you, pile one, moving on, moving forward. How are you going to better move forward into the future of your life? How can you better be present with yourself in this moment, right? I'm never going to advocate that you have to break up with someone. That's not my job, because everybody's situation is different. For some people, it could be like, we need to go and talk to somebody. We need to go and get therapy so that we can see if we can figure out a better way to communicate, and that can be enough to balance out the situation. But for others, it might be ending a relationship. For some, it might be taking a break for a while so that you can reassess yourself by yourself, right? This is also careful examination, right? You're looking for the meaning of the relationship. You're looking for the meaning of yourself. What is my purpose? Okay. Also, this is a deeper quest for truth and understanding of yourself. And that's what Source is saying. Like, this reason that this is seemingly falling apart is to better understand yourself, which we see with the second house here, right? Understanding our self-worth, our self-value. The second house can point to what we're magnetizing to ourselves, and what we magnetize is what is a reflection of our internal world, our internal state. And so now you're being given an opportunity to move forward after hesitation, after chaos, after destruction, after a hardship, but realizing that you get to make a path through that disharmony, knowing that you have the strength to overcome this. But that's the choice that you get to make, right? And understanding that if you can't move right now, that's okay too, right? Source is never gonna chastise you for not being able to make a move for yourself. It's always about when you're ready, and knowing too, pile one, that you can absolutely ask for strength and assistance from your guides, from Source, from your angels. They will be there to help out no matter what. I all of a sudden have the hiccups. And I feel like through this reevaluating of self, it's going to bring a lot of neutrality to the situation. The neutrality is going to give you a step in the right direction, because it's gonna be a peace, right? Like there's almost like a, let's call it truce, but the truce comes from you taking care of yourself. Yeah, it's like you're winning this fight. So you are winning this fight. But it's just someone who's very rigid, who is suspicious, and you maybe even are suspicious of this person, right? And so that's why it's blocking this advancement here. That's why nothing is moving forward right now. So there's this energy that's really overwhelming, and there's this huge emotional blow that's been taken. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I feel brokenhearted. I feel let down. I feel betrayed. That emotional blow came to give you an opportunity to enter into this hermit mode, to go back in to reflect the self, reflect where you're at and where you're going. And then making a decision that feels right for yourself, right? Because no one can relieve you of that burden. That's something that you have to choose for yourself. Yeah, we have Jupiter in Taurus on the bottom with status. So this could be with someone who's older than you or younger than you. This could also be a parent-child dynamic. It doesn't have to be, but that's an energy that's coming in with this card. But this could also be like even at work, like you're really close with someone you work with and status is getting in the way, like recognition is getting in the way. Again, with the second house, it's about coming back to self, coming back to how you see you. And how are you taking care of yourself, right? Because it can be easy to give up on ourselves and try to fix situations that aren't ours to actually burden. Raven, listen to your intuition and to receive a message from the world of spirit or a friend. Yeah, so Source has definitely been trying to give you some guidance in regards to this. Ravens could be a very particular symbolic meaning to you, but also I just feel like, you know, you're in the process of being so emotionally attached that it's really hard to receive that guidance. You're not alone. Even myself, like if I get too emotionally attached to something, I will close off that channel. And, you know, even though it's a muscle, we're constantly, you know, asking to use it. But it's just the same thing. Like if you get a Charlie horse in your leg and you're used to walking every day, well, the day after getting a Charlie horse or the day of getting a Charlie horse, you're probably not going to walk very good, right? It's the same thing with our intuition. Our emotions are what are basically Charlie horses for our intuition. And so it's just working that out and coming back to that state of no mind, if you will, which is assessed through meditation. So we have the sixth house. I was saying that maybe you're having a lot of body injuries. And we have the health energy here, establishing a foundation, health, daily life, and practical details. So this could be keeping you from doing your day-to-day rituals or your day-to-day routines. And so again, coming back to self-care is by maintaining those routines. We also have with the sixth house is employees, small animals, things like that. And so this could be a work situation with, again, someone that you felt really close to. We're wondering like, well, what the heck? You know, what happened? Why did it seem like things fell apart? The truth about the situation, Source. Thank you. Responding, not reacting. The only control we have is how we respond to the hand we are dealt. So showing up from a calm state of mind, being poised in this situation, not letting your emotions get the best of you. And that's the truth here, is that will bring you back into a stable state for you to assess the situation at hand. It doesn't mean that it is easy, but the steps getting there are simple. And there is going to be a struggle here, but it will be worth the struggle. Sixth house again, get real with responsibilities. Okay, so this is something you feel responsible about that's not necessarily yours to be responsible about. Okay, so let's get some prism cards out here. Let's see. Consciousness. This is helping you to gain more understanding of self. Okay, intuition on the bottom. Trusting your intuition is key right now. And I feel like it's just been really hard because you're just like, well, you know, maybe there's the anger playing a part on this as well. When you get angry, then you start getting suspicious. And then when you get suspicious, you start painting stories about this person or situation. And that can be really disconcerting. And I feel like they're just saying, like, it's okay, come back to this place of stillness, because when you come back to this place of stillness, then you'll get the guidance you're looking for. So we have hyacinth on the bottom here, spiritual growth and beauty. Yeah, so this situation is happening for your spiritual growth. And I wish, pile one, I could tell you that spiritual growth is so beautiful and easy and wonderful all the time, but honestly, spiritual growth is probably one of the most grueling situations that we'll go through in our lives. And it's, you know, I don't want to discourage anybody from their spiritual growth. It's just that oftentimes it's asking us to view parts of ourselves that we had buried long and forgotten. And now those ugly parts of ourselves, or those uncomfortable parts of ourselves, are coming to the surface. And, you know, we don't oftentimes want to face that. But we have Lantana with rigor and versatility. So, you know, you will adapt to this situation here. And I feel like facing this from a place of quiet mind. So after reflecting on it in meditation, maybe journaling about it, will give you some new rigor as well. Then we have chrysanthemum with longevity and endurance. This is the question that I asked. Is this for the long run? So I feel like that's something really vital that you need to ask yourself. Is this for the long run? So we have the moon in Taurus again. So Taurus energy is highly important here. All about, you know, finding our stability, working towards a goal, allowing things to unfold in a slow manner, right? We're not trying to rush, but also Taurus in their shadow can be very stubborn. And so there's a bit of stubborn resistance that's coming through here, and honoring that about ourselves as well. With the moon here, we have exaltation. So there is luck here. Okay, there's an opportunity to heal the emotions. There's an opportunity to gain clarity here. But it's going to take drawing away to come back to it at a later time. And I feel like that's what feels uncomfortable, because that feels like, oh, I'm abandoning them, or they're abandoning me, or, you know, there's that sense that's coming through. It's driven by anger, fear, worry, anxiety. But the truth is that sometimes we have to walk away in order to come back clearly. So we have the short-eared owl here. Inner peace and a sense of wonder are regained by immersing yourself in nature. Yeah, so taking a walk in nature is going to be beneficial to you as well. This is a very disheartening situation. It's incredibly overwhelming, and I can understand why you would be unbalanced because of it. But also not beating yourself up. Like this would happen to anybody, pile one. So it's just reminding yourself, what is it that grounds you? What practices bring you back to your centered state? So we have Mercury here with think, learn, network, and communicate. Again, this idea of being completely honest with yourself, right? And then also coming out over this card here, the longevity card. It's like, is this something that's gonna go the distance? Or is it only lasting because I'm the one that's putting in all the effort? And being brutally honest with yourself. And also accepting what comes through, you know, and allowing that to be your guide. Voice. Yeah, there's a need to find your voice here. You are here to be known, so speak and be seen. But again, finding your truth in this situation and observing the truth with this situation, right? Being honest about the situation. Leo, confidence is key. Okay, what happens is what happens. That's like, we're so used to trying to control situations, and I feel like the thing is that we need to get into this habit of realizing we only have control over ourselves. That's it. We can't control how people show up. We can't control what people say. We can't control how things unfold. We try, but it's amazing how it rarely ever goes the way that we expect it to. And so coming back to this place of confidently embracing the next steps, knowing that it is the right thing for you. Okay. And again, it's not direct information in regards to what exactly you have to do. It's saying that right now it's key for you to trust your intuition. And that's also going to build this confidence up as well. Okay. And then we have Bluebell. New horizons and humility. And I love that humility actually came out here, right? Like, we get humbled in such unique ways on our journey. What we think we know, we find that we really didn't know at all. What we believe, we'll find that really was, an illusion. And I feel like that's just always funny to me. It's not funny when people get humbled. It's not. But for myself, it's something that I've learned to laugh about, because everything that I thought to be what it once was, I've learned something different about. And the journey is that. It's an exciting adventure if we allow it to be, but oftentimes we're so fretful of what comes next, the future, that we're not even observing the emotion of energy. I'm sorry, let me try that again. We're not even observing the excitement of the adventure itself. And that leaves us feeling, I heard the word wanton come through and then disconnected, but there's a new beginning here for you there. And again, with the Bluebell, speaking the truth, right? Like, coming back to the color of blue, the Vishuddha chakra is definitely coming in. So again, you might really benefit from checking out the collective energy as well. Whoa. Okay. So all of a sudden, hold on, you can see everything. Come back. As I'm saying that, the camera just freaking out. So for many of you, you might benefit from checking out the collective energy at the beginning, and it's timestamped down below. Okay, it'll have further messages, but let's take a look at this. And again, this is what the Hermit energy was really focused on, was this card here. Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So coming back to a state of creativity, right? And also finding unique, imaginative ways to face the future. It's like, by its very nature, the physical body is limited by the 3 dimensions, but your mind is free to travel without boundaries and merge with the cosmic consciousness, right? Again, coming back to this merging with the intuition, merging with your inner self, merging with the infinite wisdom. Your mind is a great creator and your imagination is a toolbox. Everything in life begins with the energy of imagination. Thoughts are real and they can manifest themselves into the physical world. Train your mind to only have positive thoughts and you will attract positivity into your life. If you can see it, you can be it. Visualize the components that you want in your life and imbue those thoughts with love. They will become your reality. Conversely, if your mind strays to negative thoughts, you will only bring that energy to you. Be positive and loving. Imagination is creativity. Express yourself and let your imagination assist you in letting go of any creative blocks. Allow your dreams to come true. Remember, you are not doing this for other people. It is your soul opening up and singing its own unique song. And this is on page number 66. And 6 is all about seeing ourselves through eyes of unconditional love. So there's something here where it's been blocked, where it's like you're so focused on this situation, which is understandable. Of course, it's happened, and so now it's the thing that you have to face. So it's at the forefront of your mind. But remembering that coming back to a state of self-love, seeing yourself with eyes of unconditional love, and realizing that I'm not just giving people the benefit of the doubt because of the title they have in my life, the role that they play in my life, the time frame that they've been in my life. I'm really looking at, is this in alignment with where I'm choosing to go with my own life? And sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it just needs a little creative tuning to come back into balance. But trusting yourself here, again, you have an incredible ability to connect with your intuition. So trusting that your intuition will take you to that next step, right? And remembering that sometimes there are going to be difficult things that we have to go through, but they're not the truth of who we are. They're just things that we have to experience in this human reality that we have chosen to incarnate in, and that this too shall pass. Okay? I know it's been hard, pile one, but you're really doing a good job. So this is what I see here for you today. If you felt like this was your reading, leave a little talk bubble down below and say, today I choose to tune in and allow my truth to guide me, knowing that my intuition is always leading me towards the path of my highest good. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. So I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this message. And until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Mars on it, or maybe you were called to this little seashell, or perhaps you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on the truth about the situation. We are all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. I do things differently here on this channel, so with that being said, if the message does resonate with you, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Triggering statements may arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit. Also keeping in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. Your time and your energy are a true gift and a blessing today, and I'm honored to be here sharing it with you. So let's go ahead and hop to it and find out the truth about this situation. Pile 2. The truth about this situation. Source, what would you like to share with us today? The truth about this situation. Okay, so we've got the second house. We have Taurus energy and we have Neptune. The second house came out in pile 1 too. There is something stable here. And I feel like you intuitively know that. There's something very stable here. There's something that is worth the time that you're putting into it. But with that, there's still a lot of doubts that are arising in regards to this situation. And it feels like something's very uncertain here. You have done so much in regards to this. You've put forth an incredible amount of effort. And your efforts are being seen slowly, but they are being seen. And I feel like trusting your intuition is paying off for you in regards to this situation. So this could be a business endeavor, getting a promotion, moving up in your company, being recognized for something in your community, at home. Maybe you are creating something and you're wondering if it's worth all this effort that you're putting into it. In Taurus, you know, I call Taurus the stability of the zodiac because they literally are the ones who build financial success. I mean, all the earth signs really do. But like Taurus, they don't, like, they'll do what it takes to get there. And they create the luck themselves. And that's something that's really unique about Taurus. You know, like you have Capricorn who they don't care about the goal. They set the goal just as a measurement. And as soon as they meet the goal, then they're already on to the next goal. Like they're not even worried about it. They're like, oh, I took that step, I'm moving on, right? And then you have Virgo who patiently builds while trying to perfect everything. But Taurus is, they're this stable, stubborn, loyal, constant and consistent energy. And that's something that is coming through here with this situation, pile 2, is that you have been stable, constant, consistent, and loyal to this situation. And that is something that is not going unnoticed. It is definitely being recognized, but it might not be coming in as fast as you wanted it to. I do feel like there is a sense of self-doubt and lack of self-belief that's coming in. Like, you see the good and you see the feedback that you're getting is good, but then maybe you receive not so good feedback, and that's the one that really impacts you. And that's understandable, you know. We always remember the bad, and that's just part of being human. It's like the bad impacts us more, and it's just because the ego, the emotional ego, is hyper focused on the bad in order to try and protect us. And part of our journey is about releasing that control that the emotional ego wants to have over hyper focusing on those negative things that happen to us, you know. We recognize that this is a one-off situation, or this isn't permanent, or that, you know, things aren't always what they seem. I have to move the camera a little bit here. And that can be really scary, because it means that we have to trust that what we don't see with our eyes is still working out for us. But what we're seeing with our eyes is not always in alignment with what's going on internally, even though our internal state does mirror into our outer world. But as you grow, you're going to notice more and more situations that are not mirroring outside of you. So you're going to recognize that, like, okay, you know, I've let go of a toxic pattern. That toxic pattern is still going to come back into your life. And it's not for anything terrible. It's just that that's the momentum that was built up. And every time it comes back into your life, because you've changed that toxic pattern, then you face it with the new pattern that has been implemented. And eventually those cancel out. And then eventually it moves into being mirrored what's internally. And I feel like that's what's happening here. You've moved beyond something, but there is still the doubt that arises. And there is still those feelings of like, well, when there's negative feedback, I feel like it's my fault. I feel like I'm the one that's not doing what's right. I feel like I have to change myself because of this negative feedback. And that's, no, like, okay, so say this is a job. Okay, here's an example. Say this is your job and you had a really bad week. Okay? Naturally, as it goes, you might not perform as well as you did when you had your best week, right? Because you probably didn't get enough sleep, or you were just in a mood, or your emotions were haywire, whatever the situation is. And your boss notices that, and your boss says, you know what, Pile 2, like, this was not your best week. Like, usually you produce a lot better than this. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I just really thought that I should say something. And that's the only thing that you can focus on. Like, wow, my boss doesn't think I'm doing good. Like, I must be messing things up. I'm, you know, like, obviously this is not for me. Like, I can't even believe that I thought I was going to go far with this, right? Like, our mind starts to spiral out of control. And that, but a week prior, your boss could have been like, I'm so glad you're on my team, Pile 2. I think you're an amazing worker, and I wish I could clone you. I wish I had like 10 of you, because if I had 10 of you, we would be the most awesome team in the world. And, you know, that made you feel good. But the minute that you get that negative feedback, that's all you can focus on. It's like all that prior went out the window. And that's what they're saying, is just that negative statement or that negative feedback is not the truth of where you're at. You're allowed to have human moments. You're allowed to have those times when you're not going to be performing at your best, no matter what it is. And no matter how skilled or masterful you are at it, you're still going to have moments where you look like a total klutz or like a beginner. Why? Because that's human. It's, you know, look, if you've been watching my readings for any amount of time, you know, I've always been told I speak very eloquently, and that's because I had a lot of training classes when I was growing up, and I also went to a professional training facility where I was taught how to train people, like a group of people, sometimes up to hundreds of people. And so I took classes for this, and that's why I speak the way that I speak. And still, no matter how much I've mastered it, there have been times when I literally have stumbled over my words in ridiculous ways. But you know, you can't beat yourself up about that. Sometimes I just laugh about it and move on. Why? Because, okay, I'm just totally human today, right? And that's what they're saying. Like, in those moments, sometimes it's just best for you to laugh about it and move on. Like, okay, I just, you know, I'm having a bad week. I'm having a human week this week. Let me relish in the fact that this happens, and it reminds me that there is no one perfect in the world, right? And that's just an example of, it's just honoring the fact that sometimes things get really hard, but it does look like things are working out in your favor here. There is a huge shift that's coming, and I feel like you are aware that that shift is coming, but there's still something here where it's like, I don't know, like maybe I'm not doing the right thing, or maybe, you know, I'm seeing things unclearly here. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, or, you know, but no, I feel like there's some kind of an offer that's coming in here that you're going to greatly appreciate. You're going to really love. But, you know, it's like interesting, right? Because you have the Wheel of Fortune right at the center of your reading, like source coming in and saying things are working out. There's a huge growth here for you. There's a huge opportunity that's coming for you. But it's surrounded by the Eight of Wands and the Justice in the reverse. So there's like a lot of harsh judgments around yourself about this. And I don't feel like this is coming from necessarily other people, although it may be like feedback from other people. Like, I feel like sometimes that feedback gets amplified because of the self-doubt or the self-judgment that you have. So it's not that what they said wasn't bad. It could be, right? It could have been heart-wrenching what they said, but even if it was heart-wrenching, instead of seeing it as it was in that moment, it's like we take it out of proportion and we magnify it because of our own feelings of insufficiency or instability that's coming through, right? This is that insecurity that's being amplified. But Source is saying, like, you've worked through so much of this. So what's coming next is an offer. And it could be love, it could be a workplace offer, it could be money, it could be a move, there could be anything here, but it is an offer that's coming in that you are going to really love, and it is going to change your life. There's a huge transformation here. But it's uncomfortable. And they're saying not to give up, because sometimes you're your own worst enemy. Sometimes you're the one that creates a lot of blockages for yourself. And again, not pointing the finger at all, and not saying that what you experienced wasn't valid to feel the way that you feel or anything like that. But when we let our minds spiral, right? Have you ever had a situation where it's over with? The situation's done, and it was an awful situation. It didn't turn out, like you had a fight with a family member or a friend, or, you know, like you said some things that you didn't mean. And then you keep replaying that situation over and over in your head. Not what happened, but you start putting in, well, if I had said this, then they would have said that. And then I would have said this, and then it would have gone this way. And then we would have been here, and it would have happened this way. And you end up doing it like a million times for a million different reasons. Virgos are famous for this. So if you're Virgo, shout out to my Virgos. Y'all thinking about every which way it could go and every which way it doesn't go, and a multitude of different scenarios. But this is also very human of us to imagine different scenarios for something that's already passed. And so I feel like that's what's going on here, is like it's amplifying the fear and the anxiety and the lack of self-belief. But Source is saying that this is actually what's turning the tides for you, because there's something here that you've been facing for a long time, like feelings of inadequacy. Like you've really been working on self-love and recognizing your talents and your creative endeavors and your abilities and your skills. Like you've really been focusing on celebrating those. Or there's a feeling of like, I'm not worthy of love, or I'm not enough, or, you know, I'm the problem. And you're focusing on self-love, and you're focusing on seeing your worth and your value, and you're focusing on recognizing your inner strength, right? And so it's like, whatever this is tied to, there was an injustice here. There was a lot of it that was happening in your life that was over and over and over again. But oddly enough, that actually showed you the fortune that you are, the gem that resides within your soul. when you're able to tap into that, you feel unstoppable, but we're not able to tap into that 100% of the time. However, you are balancing out that scale. And it's happening in a very unique way, but every time some kind of injustice comes in and upsets you, you are self-aware and you're coming back to that place of really feeling your feelings. Like, okay, is this something that, I need to take to heart? Is this something that I need to, let spiral out of control? And also the thing here is that Source is saying, like, giving yourself grace and forgiveness for the moments that it does. Like, you're not trying to perfect this at all, right? Like, even if you're trying to get better, like, just knowing that there is no perfect path of us finally stepping into an incredibly enlightened place where we're never going to experience human emotions again. That's not how this works. I mean, maybe it would be nice, but, it kind of, that defeats the purpose of having the human experience. To be human means to be human. And that's the thing. And so I feel like that's what's happening here. It's like, you are absolutely growing. You are absolutely taking care of yourself. You are absolutely building some sense of foundation for yourself and stability and loyalty for yourself. And you are getting recognized for that. But the offer might have come or is coming a lot later than what you expected it to, or what you even imagined it would. And that in itself is feeling like, okay, I did the wrong thing. I took the wrong path. I didn't do what was right for me. And Source is saying that's not true at all. Like, you following your intuition has led you to a very fortunate outcome. But when you get stuck on focusing on the negatives, then things can get overwhelming. And that's okay too, right? Like, letting yourself sit with those emotions as they arise, but also asking yourself, like, is this something that I need to take into real consideration? And that can be hard. But say, I don't know, say you have a blog, okay? And you write a blog and you've written every day of your life for 10, 15 years. Like, you'd be considered a master at this point, right? Because you've written so much. And, you know how to connect with people, and you have a blog that's not received very well, but you knew you had to write it, right? And it's not received, and someone comes on and they're like, oh, I can't believe that you would talk about this. Like, your writing is absolutely absurd. You don't know how to spell, or you don't know how to do this. And so you go back and you reread it and you're like, holy crap, like, what is this person talking about? Everything's spelled right. All my grammar's in check. All my punctuations are in check. Like, what is this person talking about? You have to ask yourself, is this person writing every day? Like, have they shown up to write for themselves every day? Are they living the journey that you are wanting to live? Chances are the ones that leave those nasty reviews like that, they're not. That's just a blatant truth, right? Oftentimes the ones that leave the nastiest reviews or make us feel the worst about ourselves are people that are jealous or are feeling like they don't have what it takes, or they want to tear someone else down because they don't want to be miserable and alone at the bottom, or they feel like they've been attacked, and so they're projecting that attack onto others. And so it's like, you have to ask yourself these questions so that you can logically assess the situation and make a reasonable deduction as to what has happened moving forward, right? Like, it's not about letting it win. It's about, is this something I should take seriously? And if it is, that's okay too. Like, if someone gives you constructive criticism, like, hey, your boss says this wasn't your best week. And if you're like, yeah, I'm aware of that. I've just had a really bad week. Don't worry, this isn't going to be an ongoing thing, right? Like, that can be something too. But I just really feel like there's something here where the ones that hit you the hardest come from the people who don't know anything about what you do or anything about what it takes to put yourself out there in the way that you're putting yourself out there. This is something that's coming from people who are just negative in general, and they want you to be living in that negative energy too. They want to feed on your fear because they want to keep you from growing and having a glow up. Also, it's interesting. I watched this short today, and I feel like this is really powerful in regards to your reading pile too. It's talking about spiritual warfare. And spiritual warfare doesn't always come in the form of what we might label as evil or someone attacking us physically you know, like in the world, or, you know, like narcissism or anything like that. Spiritual warfare can come in the way of making us question our worth. It can come in the form of someone saying something that makes our emotions go crazy, so that we'll come from an emotional place and blast out. You know, that can be narcissism in itself too. But, you know, it was talking about how we have to sometimes draw ourselves away from the situation and really say, is this something I need to carry? Or is this something that I can put at Source's feet? Can I come back to Source? Can I come back to my guides? Can I come back to my higher self? And it's easier said than done. And I feel like no matter how long you're on this journey, like you're gonna run into people who are just trolls by nature. Trolls online, trolls and face-to-face, just people who are very low vibrational people and who don't want to see the good in things because they can't. And that's just a part of life. It's unfortunate and it's heartbreaking because you don't want people to be miserable like that. But I feel like that's just a reminder, like that's a fact of life. But then you also have people in your life that actually genuinely care about how you're doing, right? And they want you to keep doing well. And so they might mention something like constructive criticism. And that is something worth taking into account. It doesn't mean that you have to use what they say, but it's okay to take a moment to reflect on that and to see, is this something that's worth moving forward? And so I feel like that's what Source is saying here. It's like the truth about this situation is taking a moment to reflect. Is this something worth carrying? Is this something worth changing? Is this something worth letting go? Because there's an offer that's coming for you, an offer that's going to leave you pleasantly surprised and quite happy. And I feel like change your life for the better as well. I love this. We have the moon in Leo with appreciation. Yeah, you're about to shine. You're about to shine in a way that you haven't shined before. And, you know, it's going to be noticed by a lot of people. I also feel like there's going to be a lot of things coming. I have the hiccups all of a sudden. This happened in pile 1 too. Okay. I think that there's going to be a lot of things that are coming in for you, pile 2, where you're going to really be grateful, you know, grateful for the money, grateful for the people, grateful for the opportunities, grateful for all the things that are coming into your life. And, you know, you're also going to be shining. Like people are going to see you as you are. I also feel like you're stepping into a position of leadership where you're going to be leading a lot of people, or you're going to be, maybe you're only going to be leading home, you know, like your family or something like that. But you're stepping into a position where people are going to trust what it is that you're saying because they see how you show up in that consistent, constant way. You know, consistency is trusted over experience. I will tell you. And why is that? Because someone will appreciate someone who's going to consistently show up versus someone who, you know, sporadically shows up, no matter how wise that sporadic person is, because they're feeling like, oh, they're flaky, they're not consistent, they're not always showing up, you know, like they're constantly gone. And so that's why it's like your consistency is speaking for itself, right? That's a power in itself. On the bottom, we have Jupiter and Virgo, patience. Isn't that funny? We're talking about Virgo too. So you could have Virgo highly aspect in your chart. You could have Virgo moon, Virgo sun, Virgo. There we go. See, sometimes I just have a moment. Virgo rising, Virgo, and you could have Jupiter in Virgo. You could have Virgo in the 6th house, in the 8th house, and in the 11th house is coming through as well. Okay, but patience here. It's your time to shine is coming, and it's just not here right in this moment, but your time to come is shining. And so they don't want you to stop shy of gaining success on this endeavor. Since you've put so much time and effort into it, you've been clearing out limiting beliefs, you've been clearing out thoughts of poverty, you've been clearing out thoughts of self-doubt, lack of self-belief. You know, like these are things that you've been letting go of, and you're going to be rewarded because of that, right? So we have wood duck, enrich your life by keeping your every option open. So, and this too, like it's okay to look at other things, but I do feel like it's necessary for you to keep going down the road that you're going on to, because it's going to open doors for you. But also don't be afraid to walk in one of those doors, you know? Yeah, Roman tufted goose. Take heed of those who give warning. So there is a group of people here. There's someone, maybe 3 people in general, who are very loud in your mind, constantly trying to create a lot of doubt, trying to create dissonance on your journey itself. And they're saying not to pay attention to those people. You know, when we take heed of the warning is this something that I need to carry on my heart? Or is this just someone who's trying to make themselves feel better? Is this really mine, or is this something else, right? Yeah, House 11, we have friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. And that's the thing. I do feel like there are people who want to see you succeed. And those are the people you can turn to. And those are the people you can tell about those hard things that you've gone through. You know, like if you got a nasty comment, or if you got a nasty feedback from someone who, maybe you got feedback from a coworker and they're like, oh, I can't believe that you did that. Like, you don't even know what you're doing. But maybe they're not even in the same department as you, right? Going to the people that you trust and be like, you know, Joe said this week that he couldn't believe that I did what I did, but he doesn't even work in the department that I work in. And this was so frustrating. And I can't believe that he said that. So you can have somebody who does want to see you succeed and be like, why are you even paying attention to Joe? Joe's not in your department. Joe doesn't know anything that you do. Like, I can appreciate how that would make you mad. It'd probably make me mad too. But as a friend, I'm going to tell you, like, that's not even worth your time. That's not even worth your energy. Like, Joe's just trying to create mockery because Joe's being Joe. You know, whatever it is. Again, just an example. Yeah, inner life. Wow. What a confirmation. Your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. So again, you've done a lot of cultivation. You've worked on your inner self, and you're coming to a new state of being in the outer world. But sometimes it takes a while for the outer world to catch up to us. Like, that's just how it is. I wish I could tell you that the minute things shift inside is the minute that things shift outside, but it's not like that. It's like, think about a plant. You know, like if your plant's roots are sick, you have to fix the roots first before the plant fixes itself. But you could fix the roots and it could take weeks for the plant to look healthy again. But you know that you've gone the distance and you're working on making sure that it's alive and it's healthy. And that's the thing. It's like you've gone the distance. You're going the extra mile to make sure that your internal world, your inner world, is healthy. It's alive. It's thriving. That's the only thing that matters, pile 2. No matter what's going on in the outer world. We have Uranus here with expect miracles. Yeah, something massive is about to shock you. I feel like something is coming in where you're just gonna be like, whoa, I never in a million years expected this to happen. Look at that. Ceres, we have reconnect with yourself, getting right with yourself. That's the only thing that matters right now. And you know, it's interesting because it's this energy of trusting that you have been on the right path this whole time. Trusting that even though there's doubt, that doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing. You know, I feel like imposter syndrome is something that we should talk more about, because it's just, I mean, people bring it up, but it's like, I feel like we just dust it under the table. Like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Every person deals with imposter syndrome. People who are trying to change their life deal with imposter syndrome. People are trying to make a name for themselves. They deal with imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is something that if we observe, we don't have to take it so seriously, but we take it seriously and we let it determine outcomes for us because oh yeah, I'm just an imposter. I shouldn't even be doing this to begin with. That's not true at all. Talk to any artist, talk to any musician, talk to any famous person. I guarantee you at some point on their journey, even at times still, they deal with imposter syndrome. They're like, I can't believe that I've come as far as I have. Like, I don't see it. Everybody else sees it, but I don't see it. That's because we don't see ourselves through the same eyes that other people see us. But then when we hear something negative, we're like, oh, that's the eyes that I see myself with, so I can totally understand where this person's coming from. But is that truth, or is that the illusion? That's the illusion, right? The truth is that when we look at ourselves with eyes of love, we recognize that we're capable of anything. We can change anything. We can become anyone and anything, right? We are capable of it all if we give ourselves the opportunity. And that takes a lot of courage to step away from that self-judgment. Reflection. Yeah, so there's a lot of reflection here. Reflecting on the situation at hand. Is this something worth carrying? That's what I keep hearing. Is this something worth carrying? Is this something worth ruining your day for? Is this something worth stepping away from something that you've obviously loved doing for a long time? I feel like one more wants to come out. The truth about the situation. And I feel like, honestly, pile 2, I want to say whatever it is that happened recently, it really weighed on your heart. Like, that's why it's coming through right now. This is something that really has weighed on your heart, and understandably so. Like, we're not trying to, you know, invalidate what it is that you went through. We're just trying to bring it up. Is this something that's worth ruining all the hard work that you've put forth? And I don't see that it is. Looking at it from outside the box, I don't see that it is. Source and your angels don't see that it is. So remembering that you have come a long way and you've done an amazing job, and celebrating yourself will help bring you back into that stable, reconnected place, which you are very capable of walking from. You've done so many times. We have honeysuckle. Look at this beautiful flower. Honeysuckle, we have sweetness and nostalgia. And you know what? The nostalgia of the past, that, you know, sometimes it's hard for us to let go of the emotional ego because of the nostalgia. Like, we're so used to living a certain way, and we remember old things, and they're replaying over again in our, you know, again and again in our heads. And that, it's weird, right? Like, it's like, well, I didn't like those situations, but we're still reminiscing on them. And they're still holding power over us. And that's why it's important to let go of that, right? And embrace the sweetness of the here and the now. We have cornflower, perseverance and inspiration. You will persevere, okay? You are unstoppable. All right, we've got house 2 again. Physical security, possessions, material value, and self-worth. What a synchronistic reading here, pile 2. And your number 2. So 222, very, very, very synchronistic for you. 2 is all about trusting the process, right? And then if you get 4 2s in a row, that's showing that you are incredibly tapped in. And I really believe that you are, pile 2. So keep going, because you're doing a good job at this, okay? Again, I do feel like there's one of the unexpected, or expect miracles, right? One of the shocking miracles that's coming in is your finances are changing. I feel like that's definitely for most of pile 2, like your finances are definitely changing for the better. Okay, and that could be saving better, budgeting better, getting a raise. Okay, but your finances are changing for the better. And then for others, there's definitely an offer here that is going to blow your mind. Yeah, we have distorted desire. It says conscious desire rarely satisfies the unconscious need driving it. So what is unconscious is coming forward here. So again, that's the past. The past is coming back to try and drag you back, right? The emotional ego is trying to drag you back to those old ways of being, those old habits that you were in. That's the distorted desire. And you're moving away from that. So keep moving, okay? Rest. Don't forget to take care of yourself, okay? All right, plum blossom. We have fortitude and perseverance again. You have a lot of resolve. You have a ton of resolve, but sometimes I feel like you question it even. It's like, well, no, anybody would do the same things that I do. Honestly, pile 2, you are a rare one indeed. And it's time for you to celebrate yourself as such, okay? And rose, enduring love and personal growth. Yeah, so some of you, there's definitely a love offer that's coming here. For others of you, this is true personal spiritual growth where you're moving into a new phase in your life that is incredibly abundant. So we're going to take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. Happiness. Oh, I love this message for you, pile 2. It says, I am aware that being happy means I am on the right path. Yes. Okay, so do you like what you do? I heard a yes. Then that's all that matters. If you like what you do, if it makes you feel fulfilled, if you like showing up and doing it every day, even on the days that are hard, if you're still showing up and you're like, man, I'm so glad this is what I'm doing, that says something. That means you're on the right path. It says, before incarnating, your soul created a blueprint for you to follow in this physical dimension. The easiest way to chart this path is to follow your bliss. Life is full of choices and opportunities. Spirit, in its infinite wisdom, has given you the emotion of happiness to guide you. The signposts are always there, but you have to acknowledge them, and you have to have the courage to follow them. Do you feel you are living a life of happiness? In what areas is it lacking? It may be time to be truthful with your soul self. Listen to its language and intuit if there is someone or a scenario holding you back from experiencing complete happiness. Even though it may be painful to admit, you need to be completely truthful. Be mindful of how happiness will affect every aspect of your life on your path. Also intuit if there is someone else in your life who needs to be brought into the awareness of happiness. It is important to recognize as well. Others will want to learn from you, and whether you admit it or not, you can be their teacher. When you are filled with love and compassion, not only do you bring happiness into your life, but you lead others by example. Be the light. And I really get that you already are the light, but sometimes you doubt yourself, and that's what Source is saying. Like, don't doubt yourself. You chose the right path. Okay? Things are gonna turn around in your favor. Keep going. Even if it takes a long time, it's worth keep going, right? It's worth it. There was a line, and I hope I can remember everything that it said, but it was talking about we would rarely ever embark on the journey if we actually understood the sacrifice it took to get to where we wanted to go. It's something along those lines. And I really feel like that's such a powerful statement, because if we understood when we first started that we would have to sacrifice all the things that we've had to along the way, would we have really embarked on it? We would have probably looked at it and been like, I don't know, the outcome's not worth all that effort, right? And that's natural, right? That's why it's unknown. That's why we have to be willing to give whatever it takes to get wherever we want to go. And you've already done that thus far. Why would you stop now? It's almost like you're at the peak of the mountain, but the climb up the mountain was so challenging and so even discouraging at times. It's like, but you still kept trudging. You went through the elements, you went through the weather, you went through everything. You tripped on rocks, you had to climb over big boulders, but you still kept going, but you can't even see the peak because you're almost there. You're almost at the peak where it's like a slide down after that. You'll just be coasting and cruising. But you can't see it because you're almost there. That's what they're saying. Just keep going because you're almost there. That's why manifestation is so hard, is because it pushes us beyond limits we didn't even know existed. And it pushes us beyond those. And it pushes us beyond those. And it pushes us beyond those. So that's why manifestation is so hard for people, because it's asking us to hold on without question, even when things get tough. And keep holding on. So the message here is to keep holding on. The truth of the situation is things are going to turn in your favor. And don't be afraid to take time to rest, because you have worked hard and you do deserve that. So maybe a little vacation, even if it's a staycation, it would be worth your while to do that, to take care of yourself right now. Self-care is so powerful for you in this time, okay? Wow. So this is what I have for you here today. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little rose emoji down below and say that even though the journey has thorns, it's still beautiful, inspiring, and motivational, and I choose to walk my path with trust. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you will find everything you need in the description box. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this powerful message today. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Saturn on it, or perhaps you felt called to this natural jasper, or maybe you were called to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on the truth about the situation. We are all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. I do things differently here on this channel. So with that being said, if the message does resonate with you, it'd mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe. Triggering statements may arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. Your time and your energy are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm honored to be here sharing it with you. So with that, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out the truth about the situation. The truth about this situation, Source. What would you like to share with pile number 3? The truth about this situation. The second house, I can't. It came out in all 3 piles. All 3 piles. Amazing. We have the second house. We have Scorpio energy. And we have Mars. There's some people here that are jealous of you. And they are trying to attack your self-worth. And they're very aggressive, making it seem like you're a problem. Here's the thing. Like, I feel like you're questioning whether or not you're approaching this situation from a clear place. But this situation asks you to come from power. And I feel like that is just interesting. I'm not laughing about this. I'm just laughing because it's just interesting. It's like, it's not saying you can't stand up for yourself. That's not what they're saying. They're not saying that you can't set some boundaries here. That's not what they're saying. They're saying that this is really looking at the situation as it is. What are they really saying about you? I feel like these are people saying it to your face. What are they really saying about you? And if they're saying it to your face, they're likely giving away how they truly feel about themselves. But there's a lot of envy for you having the position that you have, or for you having the life that you have, or for you having the love that you have, or for you having the family that you have, or the opportunities that you have. And I feel like this is something that in the past has definitely drug you through the mud and made you feel like I can't move in my life. Like I'm stuck in my life because of this. And there's a lot of anger that's feeling this too. So like when it arises, you're very quick to anger, and it's not without reason, right? It's definitely warranted. And I feel like what they're saying is, instead of coming from an emotional place, this is about coming from a place of personal power. The steps that you take to center and to say, you know what? I don't deserve this. And we're done. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I'm calling it quits, and you're no longer going to have access to my energy. That's okay, right? It's okay to do that. I feel like this is about your self-worth and your value. But also this is about the fact that I really feel like you're on the precipice of things starting to really work out for you. Whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, you're about to experience some manifestations coming in. There's a big shift that's happening in your life. And this has been a very clear message for the collective, honestly, a big shift that's coming. Like I said at the very beginning, if you caught the collective message in the beginning, that was something that came out in the collective message as well. So I'm not surprised that it's made an appearance in all 3 piles, but that shift is going to be vastly different for each person. And that's okay, right? But I do feel like here it's you are facing the shadow. That's what's coming out. You're facing the shadow, and there's something here where it's like there's maybe a fear of standing up for yourself, or there is a fear of saying what you need to say, or there's people-pleasing tendencies that are coming up. And there's a need to aggressively show up from a place of power. And when I say aggressive, this is not lashing back out, but it is being diplomatic in regards to this. My grandma always called it following politics, and my grandma was so good at this. Like if someone made fun of her, she always had a statement come back where it was like they had to actually stop and question, like, wait a second, wasn't I trying to insult her? Because I feel like I'm the one that got insulted. Like my grandma was so good at it. And I wish I had a tenth of her ability. She definitely comes through and helps me a lot from the spiritual world. But I feel like that's what it is. It's like playing politics here. There's a part of this of playing politics and playing the part. But it's not about diminishing yourself or diminishing your self-worth. But there's a need to powerfully show up and trust that it's okay for you to say, you know what, enough is enough. We're not going to go down this road anymore. I'm not going to let you make me feel like I don't matter. I'm not going to let you make me feel like I'm not worthy, because I feel like this person or these people or situations like this have done that in the past. And so that's why it's saying, like, show up from a confident and aggressive place. And again, aggression can be seen as a bad thing, but it's just coming from a very powerful place. Being very proactive. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Being very proactive in how you show up. But also recognizing that there are some people who are just not going to like you no matter what you do, and that's okay, right? This is just so interesting. This has come out on all 3 readings. It's been a very powerful message. So I feel like the collective right now is feeling attacked by lower vibrational entities and, you know, feeling like, oh my gosh, you know, what are we going to do about this? And I just feel like right now it's because paradigms are shifting so much, and those lower vibrational entities, again, I say entity as just calling them all one thing as an energy. You know, not saying that they are demonic or anything like that. That's not what we're getting at, but it's just entities in general, like people, places, situations. The paradigms are shifting, and all of these entities are holding on tooth and nail to maintain dynamics and paradigms that they felt like they were thriving in or that they felt most comfortable in. But that shift is inevitable. The change is gonna come. What's that song? Change is gonna come. Right? It's bound to come. Like, that's it. A change gonna come. The truth about the situation, Source. Yeah, there's a lot of built up anxiety here. But you have overcome something massive with the 7 of Wands here. Like, this is something massive. You fought back, and it's okay for you to keep fighting back. Okay, like, you are fighting for what you believe. So this would be like if you were in some sort of, you know, like for a cause, like there's some kind of cause that you believed, right? This would be fighting for your cause. If you are helping children, right? This would be fighting for the children. If you are trying to give a voice to people who don't have a voice and people are trying to talk back or shut you up, right? Like, this is continuing to give them a voice. This is how you're persevering in this situation. Sometimes it's not necessarily about cutting down the other people. It's about maintaining direction and maintaining your truth, and that in itself is loud enough to silence them. Okay, and that's what this feels like. But yeah, there's a lot. It's so weird because I don't feel like this is representing you necessarily, except for there is anxiety here, because it's like it does affect you mentally when this comes up, which is something that I feel like you're facing from the past, okay? But what Source is trying to point out here is that you've been given so much strength to face this because of how many times this has happened in your past and from who it's happened with. Like, I feel like that's the thing that's important here. It's like there's people who are holding roles in your life that were very valuable and important to you that did this to you, and that gave you a lot of tough skin and a huge backbone to deal with people who don't matter like that to you, right? And so there are people coming in thinking that they've got a say in your life like that, or they've got a say in the direction that you're taking like that, and they don't. And I feel like this is because sometimes you're cautious, like sometimes you're a little bit overly cautious on your journey, and it's okay. Like what they're saying here, it's okay to just stop being cautious. Just be confident and courageous in your approach. And that's going to speak louder than being cautious. Like being cautious is like, I want to take everybody's feelings into account. I want to make sure that I show them that, like, you know, I want them to know that I'm not trying to go against them or anything like that. But sometimes that just attracts people who are like gonna take advantage of that one vulnerability and see it as a weakness, and they're gonna try and exploit it as a weakness. And it's not a weakness. You're really coming from a sincere place. But instead of focusing on that, they're saying just be confident and trudge ahead without any worries. Don't look back. And through that, you're going to recognize a lot of your own internal power and how to face people like this or situations like this that come up. You've struggled a lot, but you've put up a fight against a lot of a lot of different situations, a lot of conflict. There's been a lot of conflict here and a lot of uncertain outcomes to those conflicts, like what's going to happen next. But you have made it through. You've persevered. You've overcome. And this is not any different. This is another situation for you to put up that fight, right? Again, that's why I kept feeling like this is aggression. It's like to put up that fight. Don't be afraid of that fight, because you got a lot of fight left in you. And you are a fierce opponent. Let me tell you, pile 3, you are a fierce opponent. Okay, and this is like people trying to play on your psychological, it's like psychological warfare. That's what this is. Okay, and that's why I was saying it feels like spiritual warfare. But I feel like that's the thing. It's like this is psychological warfare. They're trying to mentally get to you. They want to take a presidency in your mind. They want to live in your head rent free. And that's not going to happen. Why? Because they're not worth your time. And you got something to say, and I'm doing something with my life. What are you doing? Sitting on the couch, right? Get up off the couch. I don't know why I'm hearing that, but get up off the couch. Right? This is someone also recognizing that you have a gift and you have a treasure, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't with them. Like, I have to rip them down so that they don't see their treasure. They don't see the gem within them. But you're a diamond in the rough. And, you know, diamonds are only made through pressure. Right? And that can be really frustrating. I also feel like the people coming after you are very narrow-minded, and they've lost their will to fight for what matters to them. And so when they see other people who still have fight left in them, they want misery loves company. That's what's coming in. Misery loves company. They don't want you to keep fighting because it shows them their own lack of fight for themselves. Okay? They've denied their own desires. And so the only way that they can approach you is from a very critical standpoint. And they're looking for defects, right? Trying to, again, the psychological warfare, seeing those vulnerabilities that you're sharing. You're very transparent, but seeing those as potential weaknesses that they can exploit for their own benefit. But you're spiritually protected. And Source isn't going to let it, they're not going to let you get in like that. And so, but Source wants you to remember that it's okay for you to come from an empowered place. And I feel like people are sometimes scared because empowerment is like, think about somebody that you look up to that is a very powerful person that you even think about like, man, they say whatever they want and they seem to get away with it, right? Like they can approach people and sometimes they say things that you might be like, wow, that's kind of mean. But is it really? Like if you step back, is it really mean? You know, I mean, I'm not talking about telling people off or cutting them off at the knees. That's not what this is. But it's like when someone's like attacking you personally and you want to say what you want to say, but you don't because you're afraid of hurting their feelings. But then you have to take into account, are they caring about your feelings in this? No. They just want to be heard and they want to be right. And sometimes that's why that's the diplomacy that's coming in. It's like we can only say what everyone wants us to say for so long before we have to say what needs to be said. That's why I said my grandma, she was great at this. I think her generation, a lot of the boomers, like if you have a grandma or grandpa that you could still talk to, or mom and dad from that era, like talk to them because they had to learn how to play this good. And it's not a game. That's not what we're trying to get at. This is not a game, but it is about learning how to elegantly defend yourself from the most powerful position in the room. You've basically put your chair at the center of the room in the highest position. Everybody has to look up to you. And that's the problem with a lot of people, is that when somebody's in that position, regardless of who they are, people who don't even know you, they're going to attack you. Why? Because they want to tear you down. But you worked hard to get to that position. And you're going to have to keep fighting for it. That's the thing. You've got to fight. You have to fight for it. There's still a lot of fight left. And that's what Source is saying here. And so with this situation, is it unfair? Absolutely. Do you deserve it? Not at all. But people are always going to keep peopling. And we have no control over how another person perceives us. That's why I feel like today it's just been like about realizing there's a lot of people that are coming at you because they have you're realizing your dreams. You're doing it, and you're making it seem effortless, even though it's not. It's taken a lot of hard work to get to where you're at. But also, I feel like for you, pile 3, you may have some heavy people-pleasing tendencies that you're trying to let go of. You know, where it's like, oh, you know, like, I could see how you see it that way, and just understanding that this is where I'm coming from. But then when you try to say that, then they attack you again, and you're like, hold up, what the heck is going on here? No. Just say, boo, bye. Bye. That's it. You don't have to say nothing. Just say bye. Okay? That's coming from an empowered place. Because you're not going to listen to it. You're not going to try to explain yourself. You're not going to listen. Bye. Have a good day. I hope you find what you're looking for, because it's not me. I hope you have success in your life, because it's not going to be down this road. Say bye. And I feel like that's what Source is saying here. It's like, just say bye. But be stern about it. You don't have to explain yourself anymore. You've come to a place where it's your ethics, your work ethics, your showing up and doing what you're doing, that all speaks for itself. This is people who see that. They see that, but they're still trying to tear you down. I didn't do this for anybody else, but I want to get a little bit, I want to confirm this a little bit. Can we get a couple of confirmations here, Source? Can you? Yeah, I can't. We've got the Magician with existence. It's your existence. Just because you exist, it really irritates someone's demons, or a group of people's demons, just by your existence. You can't change that. You were created the way you were created, and okay, so compromise, the 6 of coins, and the dream. Yeah, look at this, 6 and 6. So we have 616. So you could have been born on June 16th. This is an especially important message for you. You could have been born on January 6th, or you could have been born on June 6th as well. Okay. Those are coming in here. So what is that? Capricorn, Cancer, yeah, and Gemini energy. I think Gemini. I think actually all the way. Gemini all the way. Okay, and then Capricorn. And then on the bottom, comparison. Yeah. So this is the problem. There are people here who think they can do better than you're doing. Cool. Honestly, cool. Cool. I'm sure there's millions of people out there who can do better than you're doing, who can do better than everybody's doing. I'm sure there are. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the people who are attacking you can. I mean, maybe they could if they put their mind to it and they actually went towards their dreams. Right? The dream. You're living the dream. Your existence is irritating their inner demons. You've actually sacrificed so that you could build. You're looking for something that's going to give back to you. And if they're not giving back to you, then they don't deserve to be a part in your life. They're comparing themselves to you, and they're finding themselves lacking. And that's why they're lashing out at you. That's why I say, it's like, I'm not saying this to make you feel bad when I say there's probably a million people out there who can do it better than you. What I'm saying is that there's always going to be someone who can do it better than we can. There's people who do this better than I do. And then there's probably people who do it better than they do. There's people who do it better than they do. Why? Because that's the way of life. That's just how it is. Right? But the thing is with this person or these people, they're saying, I can do it better, but they choose not to do anything at all. So instead of actually being motivated by the fact that they're like, oh, I think I could do it better than pile 3, and saying like, let me try. They're saying, oh, I can do it better than pile 3, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to judge pile 3 because I can. See what I'm saying? Like they're not doing anything for themselves. They're just lashing out because they found themselves lacking. That's what's happening here. You're living your dream. You're following your dreams. You're following something you love. Your existence is powerful. You're shining bright like a diamond. You're shining bright like a star. Your existence is powerful. And then they see how abundant you are just by your existence. So they're trying to tear you down. This is a crazy situation. This is, let me tell you, this is not somebody who's meant to be on the journey with you. So if this is someone who's holding a certain role in your life, this is not someone who's going to go the distance on the journey with you. Like this, there's going to be a vibrating out between the two of you at some point, or they're going to cut you off, or they're going to recognize that they can't pull you down. And so they're going to leave, right? But also knowing that it's okay for you to say goodbye to. And again, I'm not trying to cut people up. I'm not trying to tell you, oh, you need to leave a situation, like you have to leave it. But it's always good to look at it. Is this person going to be someone that helps me out in the long run? Are they going to be for me in the long run? You know, it's okay to look at those things. So we have Mars and Gemini. Yeah, a decision needs to be made here. This is a decision. There's a lot of strategy. Look, you have the chessboard down here, strategy, the politics, right? This is a game of strategy. And the thing is that I don't think they were prepared with how strategic you can be. That's what it is. And like, you've got the game of politics down. You had to learn. I feel like you grew up in some really shifty situations where you had to learn early on, like, okay, you know, but it doesn't mean that those people-pleasing tendencies weren't there. I do feel like you had to overcome people-pleasing tendencies, but once you were able to overcome people-pleasing tendencies and you've mastered that, I feel like you recognizing how strategic you can be and how diplomatic you can be. And that's a good thing. Yeah, look at this. Wow. We have Mars in Libra with choice. So we have decision and choice. So you have a choice and you have a decision to make. How powerful is that? So both of these in Mars energy, right? Being that assertive, that's the word here, being assertive for yourself. And I can't. We have the Sun in Aries down here with assertion. Yeah, this is about being assertive on your journey. You're fighting this creature, whatever it is, right? A lower vibrational energy. You're the knight in shining armor here, and you're fighting that. You have to assert yourself. Otherwise, they're going to bite back every time. They're going to bite because they want you to feel bad about yourself, because they feel like, oh, if I can make them feel bad about themselves, then they'll do what I want. You know, I say this all the time. There's a lot of people out there who are going to try and make you do what they want. But then the minute that you call them out on it, like, well, I didn't do this because you said this, they're going to wash their hands of it. They're going to be like, well, it's your life. Isn't it funny how it's my life when you don't want to take responsibility for what you said? But somehow it's not my life when you don't want me to go in the direction that I'm going in. So at the end of the day, you might as well just focus on it being your life and forget about everyone else. Swift. Stay true to your heart's desire and keep nature in your heart and home. So making sure that you're grounded here, but always following what your heart wants, because what your heart wants matters. Okay? A powerful energy coming in. Powerful, powerful. What's the truth about the situation? I can't. Mars. Like, Mars again. Move forward and defend self. What the heck? Like, Mars is everywhere today. You could have a lot of benefic Mars placements, or it could be that this is about really leaning into that Mars energy, right? Again, that's why I kept feeling this aggression. Like, it's okay for you to be blunt. It's okay for you to be forward. It is okay for you to say exactly what you want to say. I mean, with the exception of, you know, not trying to, to make fun of others or this, that, and the other. But it's like, I feel like that strategy is coming into play where it's like, man, if I had the guts, I would say this. You have the guts, so say it. Right? That's why it's like finding someone that you admire who says things that it feels like they get away with everything that they say. It's like, sometimes we have to emulate someone, or we have to copy someone so that we can get there for ourselves. And that's what it feels like here. This is about your spiritual growth, though. This is about you being able to defend, because I feel like the direction that you're going in, there's going to be a lot of people at some point that have something to say about what it is that you're doing. So it's good for you to have a solid backbone now, when it's maybe just like sprinkled in. There are going to be people who say what they're going to say, because the more you get recognized, right, the more you're meeting with a bigger audience, the more you're meeting with on a grander scale of things. Like, that's what's coming in here. So it's like, don't be afraid to say what you need to now, because there's going to be a time when you're going to have to say it later. Sharing, number 33. There's giving and receiving and giving. And also, I feel like this is just saying, like, focusing on the people who are in those equal give and take relationships with you, who are giving back to you, who appreciate what you do. Focusing mainly on that as well as you move forward. That's going to help you out greatly. But I do feel like there's good news that's coming in regards to your dreams, you know, and remembering that when people are projecting at us, it's where they're at internally, but also remembering that it's okay for us to stand up for ourselves. 9th house, expand your point of view. Yeah, you're definitely growing. Like, there's a huge expansion here for you spiritually. Yeah, times are changing. Mutable is showing underneath that. Yeah, times are changing. So there's a big change here. There's a big shift for you. And I feel like it's just being able to, like a one-hit wonder, but a one-hit multiple times. Like, you're going to say one and done. That's what this is. I'm saying one and done. Consciousness. Expansion of consciousness. Really, oh, excuse me. Realizing that sometimes you got to stand up for yourself. Okay, on the bottom, Osmanthus, appreciation and nobility. Okay, yes, thank you, Source, thank you. Nobility. Okay, look, here's the thing. If you step up into a king or queen or a noble place, do they take crap from people who aren't in their position? No, they don't. And it's not about entitlement. That's not what this is. It's just sometimes you really have to put people back in their place. Like, know your position. Know your place. And I know that this is so hard. And especially for me, like, this is hard to talk about because I also understand that people-pleasing energy. Like, I understand it's like, I want people to like me. Like, I don't like it when people feel bad because of things I said. But also having gone back and looked at the past and recognizing that there have been so many people in life that haven't taken into account how you felt. You know, it's like you're still taking that into account, but also know your place. Like, you have no right to tell me what to do with what I'm doing because you're not doing it. Know your place. That's what this feels like. It's like teaching people to know their place. Okay, so we've got Sweet Pea with gratitude and joy. Also maintaining an air of gratitude here. And also I feel like having fun with it again. There's something here where you've lost a sense of fun with it because it feels like there's just so many people that are like trying to drag you down. But remember the fun that you had, the joy that you had. And then we have cyclamen, I'm not sure how you say that, adaptability and gentleness. And that's the thing, like, it doesn't have to be, like, noble energy doesn't have to be berating. It can still be gentle. But again, it's still I still feel like Source is saying there's some element of being assertive here that's necessary, but you can be assertive and gentle. Blue-footed booby. Cast aside injured pride and cherish the enduring. Yeah, and not letting people injure your pride here, like you know, not getting dragged in, not getting baited. That's the energy. Broken dreams. Wow. Only you can accept or reject your dreams. Like, that's the thing. The people who are coming after you are people who have broken dreams. That's why they're coming after you. You're living your dreams. We saw that with the 6 of Cups over here. Fix. Keep on keeping on. So Source saying, keep going the journey. You're going to go the distance. And Ballast, fight the good fight. I can't with you, Source. I can't. Exactly. It's about continuing to fight. And a fight for my right to party. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, stop. This is what puts a stop to it. Fighting. Again, it's not about making them feel bad. It's not about, it's putting them back in their place. Stay in your lane. That's what I'm hearing. Stay in your lane. Right? Like a noble is going to tell you to stay in your lane. You know, when you think about, if you've ever watched any of the historical dramas or any, I love historical dramas, but if you watch any historical dramas or like that, like when they show too much kindness, they're perceived as weak and people will take advantage of that. And so it's like, not that you're supposed to give up your kindness here, but showing that you can balance kindness with assertive dominance as well. Magnolia, dignity and reflection, and maintaining your dignity here. Like, I feel like that's why it's important for you to fight as well, because that's what helps you maintain a sense of dignity. And it shows yourself like, I'm always going to be in my corner, no matter how hard things get in the outer world. So that's the truth about the situation. This is about you fighting for your right, okay? Fighting for yourself and fighting to show yourself that you deserve respect. And if people aren't going to show you respect, then peace out. Bye. Have a good life. I hope you find what you're looking for, but it ain't me. Later. So let's take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. Wow, health. Yeah. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. This is interesting that health would come out, because maybe this is what's been making you feel under the weather or less than 100% or not having a lot of vitality right now in your life, is because of dealing with people like this. People who are trying to drag you down. So that's why it's important for you to set those boundaries, because this is actually affecting you on a physical level, not just an emotional and mental level. This is affecting you on a physical level. It says your body is a temple and you are responsible for its care. You have chosen to incarnate in this physical dimension to learn certain lessons, and if you don't maintain the physical vessel that your soul has chosen, then you are sabotaging your own plan. Your health is a vital element for your soul's progress, and you should never take it for granted. Be sensible about nourishment and exercise. You could be a sensitive being who must be conscious of your surroundings, because you can easily be drained by people, places, or things. And so you have the gift of empathy, which is why it can be hard for you to stand up for yourself. And that's understandable. It says always make the ritual of protection and cleansing before you work with a client, or just bring your mind back to your heart throughout the day to rejuvenate. This card may also signify a desire to assist other beings through the physical or emotional healing work. You may be involved professionally in the medical fields, body work, or psychiatry and counseling, and maybe you're just a good listener who possesses sage advice. If you or someone you know inherited a congenital disease, past life work may be of some benefit. Okay, so yeah, taking care of your body here is important, but also I feel like standing up for yourself is how you take care of yourself right now. This is a part of the next portion of your journeys. There's something that's really hard that's happening right now, but it's happening so that you can be assertive in protecting your well-being and protecting your self-respect and protecting your health as well. And that's why this is so, it's not about being cruel, it's not about being vicious, it's not about being unruly. This is just about you asserting yourself in a very aggressive way that's aggressive from your personality, right? That assertion is aggressive from normally just kind of going with the flow and just kind of laughing things off. Sometimes you can't laugh things off because you have to defend yourself, and that's what Source is saying. So the truth about the situation is that this was brought into your life so that you could stop, fight your fight, defend yourself, and then move on, knowing that I'm taking care of myself and that's what matters, okay? I'm sorry you have to go through this, but I do want to give you that knowledge that you're doing a good job and that you will do what's necessary for yourself. And remember, you deserve self-respect. Above all else, you deserve self-respect. And that self-respect will keep you in situations where other people respect you as well, okay? So with that being said, if you felt like this was your reading, leave a little mirror emoji down below and say, I look to myself, knowing that I have a right to stand up, defend, and fight my fight, even if it's coming from a place of love. And if it resonated with you, it'd mean so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. I would like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this message today. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.